Welcome back to POA Pelican Brief, episode 15. I'm here with Beardo Sandy, but before I bring him in, I have some things I have to get off my chest, everybody. Number one thing, we try to say this as much as possible. We're not after the owners of the property. We are looking at the association, the POA, the elected officials there, the EAC, all of them. We're looking at all of them. Number two, please stop calling me to try to find out more information, because that's not going to work. You might get better luck of getting more information out of me if you leave your message, your question down below in the comments, okay? So that's it. And another thing is, I have been sitting on something for about a year, a little ace in my hand, and I think it's time to bring it out on the POA. And there's no other person that's going to help us do that better than one Beardo Sandy. Welcome back, Beardo. How's it going?
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me back. Time to another Pelican Brief.
That's it.
So
keep spreading the news, because everything we've been saying, we've been dead on. We got the receipts to prove it. And not only that, but they never come back at us and take us to court from the things that we've said. So obviously, what we have to say is actually the truth.
Yes, we don't want to get caught in a slander. Everything that we have is backed up by documents.
That's
and
correct.
If we have a theory, we call it a theory. We don't call it I think, or, So anyway, so here we're back. We have episode 15, Pelican Brief episode 15. So today, the theme of our show is the Clinton impeachment. We're going to impeach Clinton.
because Leroy's West's middle name is Clinton.
Well, you're giving away the fun here. So anyway, if it is your first time to our show, we call ourselves the Pelican Brief because the format that we use is based on John Grisham's book and movie called The Pelican Brief. So we're not talking about this Clinton. We're talking about another Clinton, and here he is. He looks good in the suit, right? I mean,
God
AI
forbid.
So
God
scary.
forbid.
I mean, my face could be in that suit too. So why do we do this connection? Because one is the president of the United States, and the other one is the president of Baca Grande. So here's a little fun we're having today. The president is called William Jefferson Clinton, and our president of the POA is Leroy Clinton West. So now we're going to do a little sidebar here on what was going on recently. Members that receive emails from the POA is getting this thing included, a community shaped by you. And that is pure propaganda. And it's not the first time the POA had that, when they can't hide the corruption. So in the old days, they used to have a banner inside the hall. I'm going to do a close-up here. And it says, on the mountain part of the banner, it says, consistency, integrity, sustainability, community, accountability, and harmony. Those are all the things not in the POA. So they listed in there. And now they go here, is back to this propaganda, is a community shaped by you. And propaganda is a Latin word to promote. It's to promote a narrative. And the POA is not a community shaped by you. That reminds me of Bane in Batman. A government by the people, you, the people, right? I can't do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, So that's the propaganda. And now we're going to go to our today's episode and when it got started. It basically got started last month when Jeff and I received an invitation to participate on a low income housing. And then at the end of the meeting, Jeff brings it up, a conflict of interest. So here are the words that were spoken then, and you can follow the audio that Jeff is going to play right here.
Jeff, forgive me, but I'd like to correct the facts. The LLC you're referring to and the website you're referring to have been defunct since COVID started. I've done no business whatsoever since COVID. So you're talking about something that hasn't existed.
Actually, I can debunk that as well. When you actually look up the flyer that they put out on social media and everything else, it said board meeting, and it was not recorded, but it said board meeting on it. I have a copy of it. Everything that you're hearing, I have copies of it and then some. Go ahead, Beata.
Yeah, basically, that is a board meeting that the minutes were not taken because by Colorado law, if 3 members are having a meeting, then minutes are required. So now Jeff wasn't satisfied with that, and he wanted to put on the record, and that that was a lie to the membership and to the board. So now Jeff is not happy, and he brings up a statement in a board's meeting to put the POA on notice of the conflict of interest. So, Jeff, I have a stripe here, and you have the recording.
Okay. So who from our guests would like to speak first?
I would like to speak, if that's possible.
Yeah, Jeff. Be aware that we've got a 3-minute limit on public comment.
Yes, sir. My name is Jeff Winsett. I have prepared a short statement to read to you guys. I am the owner of Grant Lot 613. As the meeting begins, I forward 3 documents to the POA manager's email at info@bacapoa.org. These documents are from the Secretary of State of Wyoming and Colorado. They show the POA president, Leroy West, is a shareholder or an officer of 3 corporations involving in home construction, all created after COVID-19. In the last month's meeting on May 21st, 2026, President Leroy West stated, I quote, I've got no business whatsoever since COVID-19. The document I provided today impeaches the statement. President West, POA President Leroy West's businesses are not in default, and they are active. The board has 3 fiduciary duties: the duty to care, the duty to loyalty, and the duty to disclose. The documents I provided today show President Leroy West has failed to meet these duties. We made that he made a false statement to the members and the board, and has not disclosed his ongoing conflict of interest. And as of today, June 19, 2026, this board and the members are on notice that the board may be impeached in this conflict of interest if it takes no action. Thank you for allowing me to share this information and to your attention of this matter. Jeffrey Lynn Winsett, owner of the Grant Lot 613. I yield my time.
So there you have it. That's what the statement that was made. And now we're going to hear the response from a friend of the show, Leroy Clinton West's response.
Thank you, Jeff. So I'm aware of Jeff's opinion, and it's been discussed with the board. And if there ever was a conflict of interest, that would be me building something here. I'm not building something here. That's what I meant by lack of business. And I don't think anyone on the board considers it a conflict of interest because I'm not doing any business here. the fact that I own a corporation that's in development is different than actually making sales or making sales here. So thank you for your opinion, and it's a dead issue as far as I'm concerned, I believe as far as the board is concerned. Is there any other comments from the board?
So Jeff, we're gonna take and deconstructing the statement
Deconstruct,
of
yes, deconstruct.
yeah,
Correct.
that's a tongue twister for me. So so there's several misstatements, and he adds to the lies, if we may use that word,
It keeps
or false
compiling.
remarks.
It keeps
Okay?
compiling.
So the first one, and we can go back here, and you can read here, but let's go back to, we're going to take this apart. So here's the first mistake. So West said, I'm aware of Jeff's opinion. Jeff, this is not an opinion.
It's a proven
You
fact.
provided 3 documents. This is a fact,
Yep.
right? So that's one. So what he's doing, he's a salesman. He's changing, trying to change your position
Absolutely.
from a factual document into an opinion about a document.
And everybody else's opinion within that building, and also making it noted that way on the minutes.
It's almost like you killed that guy. No, I didn't kill the guy. The bullets killed that guy. And he's bleeding because he wants to. That's his opinion that he wants to bleed, you know?
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, let's go to statement 2, misstatement number 2. And then he continues, and it has been discussed with the board. So how it has been discussed with the board?
Absolutely.
Is it in the board's minutes?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the minutes, month, and year, so we can verify this?
So hold on. If they actually talked without it being part of a discussion and under the minutes, they are cohorting, right? They're coercing, or there's a legal term. They're not allowed to talk with one another like
cahoots.
that. Yeah.
In cahoots.
In cahoots. That's the
Well,
word I'm looking for.
Look, I think everybody in Creston have glass walls, and everybody knows everybody's going. So let's go to misstatement number 3. If there was a conflict of interest, I would be building something here, okay? So let's check the bouncy balls here. So there are 3 corporations in modular homes, and he's not going to build modular homes in a Baca Grande. When modular homes are being built in the Baca Grande all the time, so he's just going to sit this one out. That doesn't make sense. So he's just taking himself out of this equation, but it's natural, and what we call a reasonable person would assume that was the reason why he became president. So let's continue to misstatement number 4. And that's what I meant by lack of business. There was never lack of business in when you mention in what he said in May 21st is, I got no business whatsoever since COVID. That's what he said.
Correct.
He didn't say I have a lack of business.
Yeah.
In May, right?
Correct.
So the key words he said in May is no business whatsoever. So, but now it gets interesting.
But the lack of business. But the lack of business. So if he had no business at all, then there's a lack of business. That makes no damn sense, because
he's shooting from the hip.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's the same way lack of business. Instead of repeating, I have no business whatsoever.
He's making it up on the fly and on the go.
It's almost like certain politicians that think nobody has a camera and is able to record damn years,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So misstatement number 5 that he made on the meeting in June. The fact that I own a corporation that is in development. Wait a second. Now he has a corporation,
And it's
and
in,
he may have no corporations whatsoever since COVID
right.
started.
Right. And it's
So
in development, but no, it's not been in development. It has been in business for how long, Sandy? 26 years?
hereby you have been impeached. So let's continue here. So let's go to another misstatement that he made, number 6. I own a corporation that is in development is different than actually making sales. So now if you look at his LinkedIn page, he's been in business for the last 12 years with New West Homes, California. And then all he does is change the name to New West Homes, Colorado. So what is to develop? You know, there's nothing to develop. He's been in business for a long time on modular homes. And if he's not making any sales, he's not only incompetent, he's a fool. He should be making sales. Why would he waste money opening corporations, putting websites, and if he's making no profit, right?
Correct.
So he continues, we continue to impeach him. So let's go to misstatement number 7. I don't think anyone on the board considered a conflict of interest. I'm not doing any business here. So the question is, has it been voted on? Has the board voted on whether or not there is a conflict of interest? Does he knows everyone's opinions of the board? So there was a vote. Is there a minute? So he's shooting from the hip again. So misstatement number 8. I'm not doing any business here. Question, why would West, I almost said Clinton, why would Clinton close his business in New West Home in California, then open a New West Homes in Colorado in 2024, unless he intended to do business here?
Absolutely.
Right?
Makes sense to me.
So here we go again. That's the Secretary of State page showing that his business has been open and active. So now, let's go to misstatement number 9. And it's a dead issue as far as I am concerned. Not really, buddy.
Nope.
We at the Pelican Brief, we don't think it's a dead issue. And until the board votes on it,
Correct.
or until a member sues the POA because their modular home was blocked because they did not buy a home from Leroy West. Could happen.
It could happen.
It happened in many times before in other places.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I want to apologize that he looks very good in this photo, and this is AI. Maybe that's why he looks good. But anyway, everything that we're talked about here is him providing the evidence, is him providing his history on LinkedIn. And so now we got another part of the show is, what is the possible violations of the law? So we covered this in the last episode, and we're going to cover a little bit again.
Just to refresh you guys'
One
memory.
is
Yeah. Go ahead.
Colorado sanctions. That's one. The other one is IRS sanctions. If there are IRS sanctions, it can get expensive. POA insurance rates may increase. And then we just talked about a member may sue the POA for conflict of interest. So now let's go into the Colorado statutes. Right here on the green, the first line green, We have the Kiowa articles, and then Title VII is the nonprofit act in law in Colorado. So, and you can pause and read it. So these two statutes in Colorado, they protect against self-dealing. So now we move on to another statute in Colorado, and this is Kiowa. The failure to disclose a commercial stake in a modular homes breaches the mandatory disclosure and recusal procedures required by the statute. Now, this is not what the statute says, but this is what Google AI, because I posted, does this having a president have a modular home, this violates, and then Google's answer that. So this is not my words. These are Google words.
That's pretty much what I came out with when I did my AI research as well, for the most part, everybody.
And if you're in Brazil, my grandmother says, Gugu. This is what Gugu said. So,
it's cute.
So now, another part of the law, in Article 7, which is a nonprofit act, and CRNCA, the fiduciary duty of nonprofit organizations under Title 7, 128, 401. Director owes a statutory duty of undivided loyalty and good faith to act in the best interest of the association. So let's move on to the next statutes here. And he cannot conceal the conflict of interest. And that was basically, Jeff, what you did, you put it on the record in June. But this is common knowledge. There are several law firms that have websites dedicated to conflict of interest. And this is one by Altitude Community Law. And here's another one by Goodman Law, also talking about conflict of interest. There's this whole PDF document that you can download from a Colorado lawyer, talking about duties, liabilities, and conflict of interest. And a friend of the show, Mola Graff, also talks about.
That's the POA lawyer. That's the POA lawyer. Oh my God! Get out of here! Get out of town, guy. You can't. You can't make this shit up.
A friend of the show that has sued you and I and a lot of members. You know, so also talk about conflict of interest. And so I posed a question to Google, and what are the implications under IRS code 501c4? And so there's risk of self-dealing. The using his position and influence, it's also may trigger sanctions against the POA, and there's an impact on the status exemptions that we have. It can go from 25% of the violation to 200% if it's not corrected. And also, there is also a possible revocation of that status. So this could cost the membership between 25 to 30% of raising the dues. But this is also, I'm not a qualified CPA, and I'm not a lawyer, but this is what Google has been saying. So I put a question here. What we're doing here in this show here is an informal impeachment. We're just proving that the guy is a liar. in simple English, right?
Well, we're also getting out to more people because not a lot of people go and listen to the board meetings on the Zoom or actually show up in person.
They don't have interest.
So this way they can feel more at home and take in the information and actually know what's actually going on in the POA board meetings. You know, I had to turn away from world news and turn back into Swatch County elected officials and all the way down to the POA level. And that's what I had to do, and that's what we have to do sometimes is to be able to notify you one way, form, or fashion that there is corruption in one way, form, or fashion happening within the POA. Corruption never changes. It stops. It just changes what kind of corruption is doing. You know, go ahead, Biardo.
Yeah, look, a wise man once said is freedom is not free. You have to fight for it every day.
Correct.
And I said this before, and I've been a member for 28 years now, and it's always a different type of self-dealing.
Correct.
And now we have this type, and this is an informal impeachment. Now, basically, he's using his. And by the way, I think 3 out of the 5 EAC members are also contractors on building homes. That is also another potential conflict of interest.
Which we are looking at, behind scenes. We're looking at it quietly. So don't mess up, you guys.
The thing is, a reasonable person would question, are there volunteers of the kindness of their hearts, or they want to have a first pitch on a home being built with the coercive leverage of approving the permit, right? That is what a reasonable person would ask. So what we're doing here is that we have officially, in the legal terminology, if somebody makes a false statement to the court, and you have evidence that the statement is false, then you submit that evidence. And the process of calling that is to impeach the witness, right? It's not to throw peach at them. It's to impeach them from speak, to block the speaking, right? Impeach. So now we're going to talk about changing a little bit here to censure. So now what we're going to talk about is not a new pattern.
Hold on, Biardo. So what we're about to get into right now, this is that ace up my sleeve that I was talking about, everybody. This is the ace up my sleeve. And I've been sitting on this one for a year. And when we were trying to think about our next video and how we're going to put this together, we were going to stop it back right before this.
I think we covered this.
But now we're going to hit it. We've never covered this. We have never covered this. You said, hold on to it. We don't have to do it. So now I told Biardo Sandy, let's bring it out now, because this is what it's really showing is that he is a liar, a complete straight out liar, because he lies about everything, because we have every single document to prove it. Go ahead, Biardo.
So unfortunately, he can't help himself. I think it was around episode 9 or 11. You were invited by West to talk to him in his home.
Correct.
And you brought it up, the new revamping of the laws to make it to stop the abuses of the POA and HOAs, a House bill called 221137.
Correct.
And I'm paraphrasing here. Basically, what he said to you is, I don't know what you're talking about, Jeff, right?
Which I have the audio.
So then I go back to the POA's documentation. And back in November 2024, and you can download this document yourselves. And so they had a resolution to incorporate let me see if I can use my mouse here. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see here? I can see it. We can see it.
House Bill 221137. Now it gets cuter. Guess who signed it?
Oh.
Here you have it. Leroy West.
Shame, shame. He knows about it,
so
but he just lied to me. I'm gonna play that audio for you guys so you guys can hear it too.
Well, I'm just talking about law and the House bills. So no matter who got sued and how much money that your lawyers put in, you're only going to get $7,500 back.
Well, tell me what you're referring to when you say that at the end of the day only $7,500 is going to be paid. That's something that I'm not sure what you're referring to.
It's because of the House bill laws, 221137, House Bill 2224. I will send them to you, the whole 9 yards, and the Kiowa Act, and the whole 9 yards. And another question.
Answer my question. What does it say that says only $7,500 has to be paid?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and quote something right offhand.
Just what's your understanding?
Well, from my understanding is of what you can get back off of a lawsuit is what is how it's written right there. And what you guys can get back on the large amount of money, whatever that money might be, in the whole 9 yards. And then if we want to come and sue the POA now, right, we can't sue you for millions. We can only sue you up to per law.
So now we cover the part that we're impeaching him. We impeach Clinton again, but not. We're talking about another Clinton.
Correct.
You know. And my middle name is not Clinton. My middle name is Reno, because I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die, you know. And your middle name is Lynn?
Correct.
Isn't that a girl's name like Sandy?
That's my grandfather's name.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, okay. So anyway. Here's another audio that you guys can follow. We have a stripe here. And go ahead, Jeff, if you can play. All right. So what we have here, it looks like Mr. West, from the kindness of his heart, allowed Jeff to speak. Something that he already knew what Jeff was going to speak, you know. So, and then we have, I believe, is Miss Wolf.
Claudia Wolf, yep.
Right? I don't know. I just heard the voice. I don't know. So Miss Wolf said, I thought we discussed that we're talking about taking the board's meeting can only, evidently she's saying only by members in good standing. Otherwise, she would not bring it up.
Yeah, I have a comment. Well, I thought we had discussed that time taken in board meetings can be used by members in good standing.
Yeah, that's another issue, Jeff, is I showed you the courtesy of letting you speak, knowing full well what you were gonna say. But there's been a comment in the board that perhaps as a member, that only members in good standing should be making public comment. But I didn't want you to add to your fire that you have a chance to speak. So you have a chance to speak. Thank you.
But we have a little something called the covenants. And the covenants have their articles and subsection. So is there a right to speak in a meeting? Is that given to only members in good standing? So we have Article 7, subsection 1. Any person acquiring a lot, it becomes an automatic member.
Correct.
Okay. Article 5, section 2, the function of the POA is to promote the welfare. So if you can't speak, you can't understand the welfare. So there's no restriction on speaking.
Correct.
And section 0.4, it limits the members in good standing for their ability to vote, but it doesn't limit their ability to speak in meeting. And the POA cannot create a resolution to overcome a covenant. And that's why it's called the covenant. It's the bottom line of their laws.
Right. And the only other thing that they can actually stop you from doing, which I actually got a letter telling me I can't use the golf course anymore, or, the POA amenities that they give us, which was pretty much nothing. Go
You're
ahead.
friends with Trump, man. You can go to any golf course Trump has.
Hey,
that's
man.
what I heard.
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
free,
hear.
Right?
That's what I hear, man. And I just make one phone call to Trump and just tell him about the POA. It'll be done. He's a great buddy. Yeah. He's a great buddy.
So anyway,
yep.
So what we're going to do here is ask the audience. Isn't it interesting that the board member, Claudia Wolf, who wishes to censure Jeff's comment, is the same person who sold the overpriced home to the president who is sitting next to her, right? A president that could have saved $100,000 or $200,000 installing a modular home
on his own properties, that he owns, which is not illegal.
Yeah,
which is not illegal.
He didn't have to buy a property from Claudia. So this is part of my theory that we used on the last episode. This is not an accusation. A reasonable person could ask, why would Mr. Leroy West, who has a vast knowledge on modular homes, he simply doesn't buy a lot and then installs a modular home there, and then he has his own private flying car, right? Why would he buy a home from Claudia Wolf when he can buy his own modular home?
Because I actually think that Claudia Wolf sold him the house to be able to get his seat in the office, a presidency.
Well, that's the theory. That's what a reasonable jury or a reasonable person would ask. Did Mr. Leroy West buy a fast path to the presidency so he could sell his modular homes, right?
Correct.
And then he has this thing that he doesn't have any business since COVID-19, and he has 2 open LLCs in Colorado. He owns Puna Pods that became Maximal right. in this year. And so that concludes today's episode of our Lives as the Stomach Turns.
As my stomach turns. What a soap opera we got going on here, everybody.
As the stomach turns, that concludes our show. It's basically the impeachment of something that was said to the membership. We provided the documents, and then Jeff makes a statement to put it on the record that there is a conflict of interest, and we have 9 misstatements, one after the other, to cover his lies that he made to the board and that. Now, when you pay your dues, you're paying for this. And you have the right, and you have the tools, and you have the evidence. And it could complicate our lives if this conflict of interest continues. Because my understanding, and I check the EAC meetings, he is also the liaison in the meetings. And if somebody brings up the word modular home, he turns to the person.
I got it on video.
To make a soft baiting. Oh, by the way, I know so much about modular homes.
Correct.
Why don't you talk to me? Right?
Correct.
And I witnessed that. I was sitting right behind him. And that is also could be a potential lawsuit if the person doesn't get to buy her own modular home or him, and now feels coerced by the president of the POA sitting during a EAC meeting. So anyway, we cover a lot of grounds here, but basically we brought to light this this document and the potential of lawsuit sanctions and our loss of tax exemptions with the IRS.
It could even
because it doesn't allow self-dealing.
It could even hurt our 501c3 down the line too, and our insurance. We're not here.
C4.
Yeah, right.
C4.
Yeah. C4. Sorry, right. Yeah, you're correct. But we're not. But we're not here to hurt our people, our neighbors here. We're here to protect them and to show them what's actually going on that could be a potential hurt into the future. And they need to be aware of it. They need to stand up to it. And that's what I have to say because this is really serious, man, because that could cost people a lot of money.
Yeah, if it's not, look, it's a wonderful thing that he has the interest to be the president of the POA, but if he is in the board EAC meetings, the first word that's out of his mouth is, I have a conflict of interest, and but I want to share this with you.
Correct.
And that's a soft baiting. And also, look, we're here to inform, and everything that we say is validated by documents. And let's see if we can work on episode 16, showing more goodies like this.
Let's do that there, Beardo Sandy. I'll be talking to you right after this.
Seth.
Thank you so much for coming on to God's Green Earth. And for all of you Baca POA Property Owners Association, I hope you really take this to heart and understand what we're trying to say to you right now, because this deals with you too. You live here. You're going to have to pay for it or deal with it if it goes south and sour. You need to know this. Why didn't he say that he had a conflict of interest right when he became president? When did they talk about it? Was it on the meetings? That's coercion. They are working together. We just explained it all to you. This is our assumptions, but actually the truth. If you really dig into it, once you look past the tree, you'll see the forest. Okay?
You're leading the witness.
I'm leading the witness. Beardo said he's still on.
No, I mean,
I'm gonna mooch you. I'm gonna
has the evidence. They can do the math. You don't need to help them. But
okay.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna cut you out anyways. But anyways, you heard that right here on God's Green Earth with Jeff Winsett.
Moving on. Yeah, actually, last month's board meeting and last month's community conversation will never be repeated. Even Leroy, it went too far. Even for me, I was like, oh, okay, I'm done.